Welcome back to Audiobooks by H.G. Shuler. Earth Chronicles, Book 2, The Blue Woman. Chapter 1. One woman's life comes to an end as a frenzied group of people converge after an accident. What is usually a lazy street suddenly goes crazy. Moments earlier, a car had hit the curve, careening off the road and shooting onto the sidewalk. Already taking charge on the scene was a girl wearing a red sweater. She checks the victims and then hovers over the body of the dead woman. 10 seconds later, she jerks her head around, the look of disbelief glaring on her face. Her eyes bulge as she looks directly into the face of a man pushing hard against her. All the passers-by were straining to get closer. "What's wrong with you? Can't you see I'm trying to help? Or is this your customary way of treating tourists?" Embarrassed, with a tinge of paranoia springing from his eyes, he answers, "I can't help it. I'm being pushed." "Well then, push back. I sincerely hope my next visit to Rochester doesn't include people being mowed down by a Volkswagen. How many got hit?" A voice in the crowd shouts. "Just these 3, the girl responds. "I saw it happen. This one here jumped in front of the little boy there, and that other woman. I think she saved their life." "Is she dead?" Another shouts. "Yes, I already checked her pulse." "But what did she die from?" "There's not a scratch on her." The girl is growing impatient with the crowd. She cringes, closing her eyes. After taking a deep breath, she opens them. Probably a broken neck, but it could be internal. Maybe she was targeted. A third voice shouts, "I bet she was murdered." For the second time, the girl shakes her head in disbelief. Her facial expression has changed to one of disgust with the crowd. She rotates her head, searching for the person who just spoke. Right, like there's an established Volkswagen assassin roaming the streets of Rochester. Or wait, maybe these 3 try to murder the Volkswagen. Stop being a freaking idiot. What about the other 2? Another voice shouts. The little boy's breathing fine. And the other woman, I think she's his mother. She's breathing too. They're gonna be fine. Probably just a brief stay in the hospital. Did someone check on the driver of the car? "It's a skinny teenage girl," said the man pressing against her. "It took 3 of us to subdue her. She's under the influence of God knows what. We put her back in the car till the police arrive." He smiles, trying to relieve the intense anxiety. "I'm a security guard for Wells Fargo. My name's Jesse. And yours?" "Emma. You a nurse or something?" "I'm something all right. I'm seriously questioning what a southern girl from the North Georgia mountains is even doing here. Sorry, I'm just stressed. I do home health care. Hold on, is that the ambulance I hear?" Looks like it, and the police too. 2 years later. Like most mornings, Logan Paul awakes to the sound of cars passing by his window. Still groggy, he descends into a semi-conscious state, his mind filling with the imagery and sensations of a dream. Unaware of his physical surroundings, the sound of traffic now merges with the dream, and he's engulfed in a spellbound, hypnotic state. For 3 nights in a row, the dream has repeated itself. In the dream, he is with his wife, Nova, several years before she was killed in a free car crash. They're sitting outside at a patio table with Sky, short for Skylar, a neighbor who had moved away 3 years before Nova's death. Soon the intensifying sound of the cars snaps him into full consciousness. He sits up on the side of the bed, thinking, realizing the dream must have some kind of psychological importance. But just what? He doesn't have a clue. In the dream, Nova and Sky are talking almost nonstop. The 2 friends have been practically inseparable back then, the best of friends. That was before stardom had come to Sky after writing a book that quickly hit the bestseller list. Soon after, Rochester seemed too small, so she packed up, moved to New York, and left the house for a real estate agent to sell. That day, Nova lost her confidant, the only one she would spill her guts to, her most trusted friend. The sound of the cars rises to an almost deafening pitch, which was normal, and would last another 15 minutes before tailing off to an occasional horn blast or screech of the tires. The smell of morning is seeping in through a partially raised window. The coolness mixed with car exhaust fumes lightly flutters the curtains. Logan punches the side of his phone to check the time. It's still a bit too early to call the doctor's office. Doctor, as in his psychiatrist he's been seeing for the past few months due to what he terms weirdness and anxiety over his wife's death. He walks to the bathroom, reaches with one arm into the shower, turns on the water to warm it, all the while hoping the doctor can work him in today. There's something he needs to tell her to get off his chest so he can breathe again. Something he's afraid to talk about, something that will change everything. Peeking out the bathroom door, he looks down the hall to his computer sitting on a small table in the den. Rubbing at his forehead, he resists the urge, turns back around, pushes down his gray pajama bottoms, and steps into the shower. Dr. Cassidy Beckett squeezes her pencil in an effort to remain patient, then punches her phone for the third time in the last 2 minutes to check the time. If I'm to help you, Logan, we're going to have to talk about the car crash. It's the one thing you seem to be hiding from. I'm not hiding. In this office, sitting without saying a word is the same thing, and you've been sitting quietly now for 10 minutes. Why do you have to ask me about the wreck? When I ask you a question, I don't do it to cause you pain. I do it to move you forward. I move my schedule around today because you asked me to. So please, I know you want to talk. Just start somewhere, anywhere. He pushes himself forward in the seat, thinking about standing up, about leaving. But it's no use. He needs to talk, and he knows it. Do you need something? No, he falls back hard. Sorry, I'm just trying to think. This is about accessing your memories. So, you have to relax, take yourself back, visualize. If you're to recover, you need to work this out. For Christ's sake, Logan, at least try. Reaching down, he starts to untie his shoes. Do you mind? No, go ahead. He pulls at the shoestrings, slides out his feet, slips his socks off, breathing nervously as he does so. After a hesitation, he leans back, sinking all the way down and laying horizontal on the sofa. Okay, so I'll just start. Anyway, that night was immensely cloudy with a thick mist falling. Nearly impossible to see. Blacker than black, like a cellar in a power outage. That part, the weather, it's etched into my brain. He hesitates. Yes. Go on, Logan. The plague of darkness was snuffing out the headlights in less than 20 feet. When I swerved to miss the deer, the driver's side of the car went off the road. Due to the poor visibility, there was no way of knowing what would happen next. He pauses again. You keep stopping. Go on, please. He takes a deep breath, long and slow, trying to get oxygen, hoping to settle himself. Anyway, the car dipped downward just a few feet at first. Then it ricocheted upwards off of something hard and went tumbling sideways in a 360, then again, and so on. Nova shouted something. Oh my God. I'm not sure, but she never shouted again, and neither did I. I didn't even know she had been thrown from the car till a man showed up with a flashlight. You sure are a lucky one, he said. To him, it seemed I hardly had a scratch. When I asked him about my wife, that's when he waved a flashlight throughout the interior of the car. There's no one else. Are you sure she was with you? That's pretty much all I remember. They tell me I searched the area with the man while waiting for the ambulance. They tell me we found her, but I don't remember any of that. Let's stay with the accident, Logan. I think you're getting close to remembering everything. How many times did the car flip? I don't know. Place yourself at the scene, visualize it. Sometimes it helps to place yourself above the scene instead of in it. Can you do that? I told you I don't remember. Does it really matter how many times the car flipped? Is this even necessary? It seems we keep ending up in the same spot. You always avoid talking about how she died. The police told me you never cried or showed any emotion after her death. Are you trying to suppress it? Yes. We've discussed this already. Talking about what happened will help you to grieve. I don't want to grieve. Yes. Well, of course no one wants to grieve. But it's with the goal of helping you put the past behind you. Psychologically, it's the body's way of healing. Grieving and healing are the same mechanics at work. Okay then, my description of the accident. I lied. That was out of a scene from a movie I just watched. I thought it would, get you to lay off me. I wasn't even there when she died. I think it is part of my problem. Like I said, I don't want to grieve. Logan, you can't just... God, you gotta listen to me. He shrugs his shoulders, sighing as he does so. I can't help it. His next words come flying out of his mouth. Real men don't cry. It's just the way I was raised. If you only knew how many times I've heard that. Well, it's true, and I don't need to grieve. Logan, do you want to be happy again? I'm happy enough. Have you always been like this? I'm not sure I know what you mean. Have you always been just happy enough, even while growing up? I suppose so, yes. This circle of existence that you were taught, that you've lived in ever since. It's scarcely living at all. I know it's common, but your parents didn't do you any favors bringing you up like that. I hope you don't mind me speaking this way. It's just that, well, it needed to be said. Dr. Beckett moves a pencil from one hand to the other, then makes a few notes on her pad. I don't mean to violate the doctor-patient confidentiality, but we don't seem to be making much progress. Who's her best friend? Would you allow he or she to sit in on our sessions? Sometimes it can help bring certain things into focus. Logan repositions himself in his seat, then shrugs his shoulders again. What kind of things? The usual. How you go about your days, for example. How you respond to certain people. How they respond to you. Are you doing things now the way you always have? Or has there been a change? Sometimes these things aren't clear to the patient, so having a friend... I'm not sure about that. Are you apprehensive about having a friend listening to us talk? I guess so, yes. Would you think about it? If you really think it will help. I'm sure of it. Again, Logan repositions himself in the seat. I've been talking to her. Did I tell you that? I'm assuming you mean your dead wife. No, you didn't mention it. Is that why you needed to come in today? Yes. Is it in your mind? Or are you telling me you've been hallucinating? Have I told you what I do for a living? You work in computers? What does that have to do with your wife? Have you ever heard of chemical computers? I vaguely remember reading something. They're in the beginning stages, I think. They're sometimes called wet computers because, well, they're a sort of chemical soup instead of integrated circuits with countless electronic chips and diodes. You probably take for granted that the devices that enable our modern-day life to communicate with each other use electricity. I've been experimenting with using chemicals as opposed to electricity to send data from one machine to the next. Truth is that my experiments have went much farther than that. Since it is chemical-based, it reacts much like the human brain, and it can be hijacked to engineer computing power and intelligence. I could tell you how individual cells are surrounded by a wall made up of so-called lipids that spontaneously encapsulate the liquid innards of the cell. How when lipid layers encounter each other as the cells come into contact, a protein forms a passage between them. I could tell you how these signals are controlled, how intelligent computing comes out of it, but you wouldn't understand. Let me just say that I've invented the first fully operational chemical computer. That's incredible, Logan. I still would like to know what this has to do with your wife, though, with Nova. I didn't know it would happen or even work at all. About a year after her death, I realized I had the computer functioning on all levels. It was amazing and beautiful, the liquid soup turning a light neon blue. I was afraid to leak my discovery to anyone at work because what I was doing building this thing at home was completely against the agreement I signed when taking the job. Logan, I don't mean to be rude, but it seems we're getting off track. A minute ago, you said you've been talking with your wife. That's right. 5 days ago, I started installing Nova's attributes and tendencies into the chemical-based computer. All of her likes, dislikes, you know, how she likes her coffee, the kind of books she reads, things like that. I got on a roll. Didn't stop till I had installed everything about her. After that, I took the audio from a video we had made years ago and installed the voice recognition. When it was all said and done, I typed in the words, "Nova, how are you today?" That's when it all started. The computer spoke in Nova's voice, only it wasn't just the voice, it was her. So, what you're telling me is you've been talking to a computer that sounds and reacts like Nova? To a degree, yes, but there's much more to it than that. Are you saying you actually think it's her? I know it is. Logan, have you ever heard of transference? I can't say that I have, no. I'm going to explain it to you. because I think you may be experiencing it. Transference is a psychological phenomenon in which an individual redirects emotions and feelings, often unconsciously, from one person to another. These emotions and feelings form the basis for certain relationship patterns in everyday life. It often happens in therapy. How a person feels about another person who may no longer be in their life, those feelings and emotions are transferred to the doctor. Of course, it doesn't have to be in therapy. It can be with any individual in a person's life. It's never been documented before, but I think you're experiencing transference with your computer. I understand what you're saying, doctor, and it makes perfect sense. But it's not what's happening to me. Your mind is in a fragile place right now. It's balancing between two states of mind. One is reality, what's happening now, our conversation, what we've been trying to accomplish with your difficulty to grieve. The other is not tangible, but exists only as imaginative. I'm sure it seems real enough, with all the bright charm of a picturesque town full of wine and food and blue skies. However, it's essential that you understand the difference. You need to comprehend what's really happening to you due to your wife's death. No, doctor, you don't understand. I haven't. Look here, I haven't told you everything. Then don't you think you better get on with it? It's just that it's difficult. Really, it is. It sounds like something out of a science fiction movie. Are you going to tell me or not? I tried something that's never been tried, something that's never even been thought about, something that will change the world as we know it. I didn't think it would work, but I injected Nova's DNA into the chemical composition of the computer. I'm listening. I thought at first that I destroyed the whole computer. It turned a deep reddish color almost immediately. I thought to myself, that's it, I'll have to start all over. 8 hours later, the blue returned as vibrant and colorful as before. I typed in the words, Nova, are you there? And it worked. By God, I'm telling you the truth. She said, yes, then asked me if my headaches were getting better. I used to get them pretty often. How would a computer know that? I didn't install anything about me, but she knew. We followed that up with a conversation about our honeymoon night. We spent it in a hospital emergency room after she stepped on a champagne glass and cut her foot. Dr. Beckett, it's Nova, only without the body. She exists now as a liquid, a chemical liquid. Nova is not just inside the computer. She is the computer. Under these circumstances, Logan, I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. I just needed to tell you, to tell someone, only I didn't know how until now. When I first came to you, I really was struggling with grief, and in a way I still am. Only now it's not because of Nova's death. It's because I've trapped her in a soup. She doesn't have a body. She will never be what she was. She will only be what she is now. And what do you think that is? I'm not exactly sure. I can talk with her, either through the typed word or voice recognition. She knows something is different because she can access unlimited information. You mean you haven't discussed what's happened to her? She doesn't know about the accident. No, she doesn't even know she's a blue liquid. How long since you injected her DNA and brought her back? As of this moment, right at 4 days. When are you going to tell her? I don't know. Well, when you do, how are you going to go about it? I don't know that either. It's why I came here today, why I needed to talk. You better figure it out fast, before she realizes what's going on. I know, and there's more. At this point, Logan, I'm not even sure I'm the right person to be discussing this with. I've got no one else. If it's what you want, then go on. Last night, I think she somehow got in my mind while I was sleeping. What or how do you mean? It was like a dream, only different. She was there, so beautiful, sharply dressed like always. There was a neighbor from years ago. She used to be Nova's best friend. Her name is Skylar. We always called her Sky. The two of them were talking almost nonstop when all of a sudden Sky turned to me and said, she brought us here. Nova brought us together. This is not a dream. Even so, how can you be sure it wasn't really a dream? It was the realism, like being in the moment. I've never experienced a dream that felt like that. I guess I can't be positive. I wish I could be. Is it really even possible for her to somehow hijack your mind? This is all so new, I don't really know what's possible. Call Sky up, talk to her. Do you have her number? I have it somewhere. Good. Let me know how it goes. What you've done, the heavens aren't going to split open because of it. I want you to understand that. You can't let it ruin your life. You're too young for that. If I don't hear back from you, just let me know something soon. That night Logan stood at his dresser, choosing pajama bottoms the same as he had for the past 31 years. A month ago, he could have never imagined being in this situation. He leans over the dresser, then a little more until his head touches the mirror. The scene in the dream is still etched in his mind like a photographic plate. Nova was so radiant, so wonderful, so real. All the unknown factors are killing him. He has decided nervously to forego the computer till tomorrow. For a second, he almost backtracks, looking over at his bedroom door, thinking about walking through it to the living room. He could be talking with his wife right now, typing in a message, but what would he say? He still has no clue how to tell her that she had died, that he had brought her back, but only as a chemical soup. Pushing back the urge to use the computer, he turns and sits on the edge of the bed. This is when he realizes the curtains have been tightly drawn, and he doesn't remember closing them. Suddenly, he hears something bustling around behind his bedroom wall, or possibly outside the window. Moving quickly, he pushes the curtains back, but at first sees nothing. Now, there is silence, so he combs the neighborhood, searching for any possible reason for the sound he had heard. Across the street, he sees a father ushering his little boy into his house. Relieved, Logan sits back on the edge of the bed, this time looking down at his clenched fist. He opens it slowly, revealing a piece of paper with a phone number. Skylar Rosemary Penley, New York. He squeezes the paper, looks across to the dresser, into the mirror. His face looking back is scared, aching, desperate. He takes a deep, audible breath. "I can do this," he whispers. "I can do this," he repeats, reaching for his smartphone on the dresser. After punching in the number, he lays back, his head now resting on a pillow. "Hello, this is Sky. Sky, this is Logan Paul. Logan, God, it's been years. I was actually just thinking of calling you. Tell me your calling has nothing to do with a dream, because I've been going crazy all day over a dream with you in it. I hate to have to tell you this, but yes, I'm calling about a dream. Are you telling me we both had the same dream?" "That's exactly what I'm saying." "But how's that possible? In the dream you said that Nova brought us together, that it wasn't really a dream." "No, I didn't." "You said that to me." "No, but that's crazy." "Okay, Logan, now you're starting to scare me. People don't just have the same dream. That's like only in the movies. I'm a writer, and it's never even crossed my mind before. It's got to be Nova. But she's been dead for 2 years. That's not entirely true. What are you talking about? I went to the funeral. Besides, I think I would know if the best friend I ever had was still alive. Yes, of course she died. But recently there's been a development." "Development? Do you care to elaborate?" "I'll tell you everything, just not over the phone. This is one of those things that needs eye-to-eye contact. Trust me. When you hear, you're going to know what I mean. You're not going to tell me she's come back as a spirit creature. I've had that dream 3 nights in a row. I want to know if she's trying to make contact. It's nothing like that. There's a scientific reason, so you can put that fear away." "Good, because I never believed in ghosts, and I don't plan on starting now. I know it's a long drive, but can you come to Rochester? Can you make the time? I wouldn't ask except, that wasn't a dream we had, was it?" "No. I believe Nova somehow brought us together. I think she had a reason for doing it." "God. Logan, do you think she knew about us?" "No. Of course not. What we had between us only lasted for like 2 weeks. I'm sure she didn't know. And even if she did, she would have known we couldn't keep doing that to her. We broke it off because of her. I don't know what it is. When you get here, we'll find out together. It's clear she wants you to come here, for all of us to be together. I'll explain more when you arrive. I'll leave first thing in the morning. If I hurry, I can make it in 5 hours. That should put me there about lunchtime. I guess that's it then. See you tomorrow. I got questions, Logan, and you better have the answers when I get there. Believe me, I want you to know everything I know. I'll see you then." Logan looks at his bedside clock. Stretching, he reaches to turn on the radio. When he hits the button, it only hums a low buzz with a green light flashing on and off. There is no music, no announcer for talk radio, only a strange, annoying buzzing sound. He turns it off, then on again, but with the same results. He turns the dial, searching for a station. Any station, but still only a steady buzz. And then he is startled by the sound of Nova's voice. It's coming through the radio. "I don't want your charity." He is stunned by the voice and jumps to his feet while staring at the radio. Then there is silence. He turns the radio off and on again, but still there's only a steady buzz. All of a sudden, he hears the same bustling sound as earlier, so he jumps up and shoots across to the window. Looking outside, he sees nothing unusual, just a long row of buildings consisting of homes and businesses. He hears the bustling sound again. This time he looks to his bedroom wall at one of two walk-in closets. It goes silent again, and he finds himself staring at Nova's old closet. He never cleaned it out, not in the 2 years since her death. He hears a click and sees the doorknob move. He is standing by the window, trying to breathe, trying not to be scared, but he is so frightened he can hear his own heart beating. The doorknob turns a little more, like someone is trying to sneak it open without anyone knowing. The door starts moving, slowly, a little at a time. Logan presses his hand against the window casing, trying to relieve his growing tension. Then in a sudden burst, the closet door flings all the way open, slamming against the wall. Instantly, a bright blue flash fills the room, temporarily blinding him and sending him to his knees. His hand stretches out, trying to protect his eyes. The brightness of the light gradually dims, allowing his eyes to start to focus. As the light dims, he makes out the faint outline of a human figure. The outline of the figure does not fade with the disappearing light, but rather it solidifies and becomes the figure of a human woman. A beautiful woman is standing in the doorway of the closet. From head to toe, her skin tint is a light neon blue color, and with a striking resemblance to Nova. "I don't need your charity," the blue woman shouts. "I don't need you to feel sorry for me, or to figure out how to tell me what's happened. Nova." Logan's voice is so weak it dies out before he can speak anything else. He swallows hard. "Nova, is it you? You've had days to come clean." He swallows again. "How did you? You're surprised to see me in the flesh. In your own words, you thought I'd be a chemical soup forever. But it's not possible. How did you do it? Don't you think you should know? After all, you brought me back. Maybe created is better terminology, since you integrated me with a freaking computer. Talk about technology getting ahead of your education. But it's not just you. Scientists all over the world are. You know what? Never mind that. How did I do it? I'll tell you how I did it. I gathered all the data on stem cell research. They're growing body parts all over the world now. In a couple places, such as Holland, they've made huge breakthroughs that they're not ready to let out at this time. I have access to their advanced research because I can enter any and every computer in the world. I created an electrostatic current and pulled the raw materials from the ground and the atmosphere. It's easier than you think when you fine-tune the formula of the human body, which, by the way, is actually quite simple. The elements that form the human body are as simple as the body is complex. Almost 99% of the mass is made up of only 6 elements: oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, calcium, and phosphorus. Only about 0.85% is composed of another 5 elements: potassium, sulfur, sodium, chlorine, and magnesium. Combine these with precision technique, and it's done. I still don't understand, and how so fast. It's only been 4 days. I just had to manipulate technology already here. A deer can resprout as much as 66 pounds of antlers in only 3 months. Zebra fish can regrow their hearts, and flatworms can regenerate their own heads. Humans are now learning from the animal world, growing ears, noses, fingers, and in some cases whole bodies, although they're not letting that out right now. I only had to manipulate the technology to speed up the process. I calculate it will take humans another 200 years to reach this same point. Logan looks back to the radio. How did you? I can manipulate any electronic device. Yes, but how? You're not connected to a radio. It has no internet. That's the end of Chapter 1 of The Blue Woman. Come back for Chapter 2 to 22 on audiobooks by H.G. Shuler on YouTube.